Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, we've seen greatness in the 130-pound division. Greatness, right? One of the best boxers we got out there was able to outbox the other fighter. Now we'll just talk about who it is. You know, we've got Shakur Stevenson. He's undefeated now, which challenging. He had a title at 126 pounds. We know he's one of the better fighters. Young, moved up to 130 to fight pretty much the baddest guy at 130 in Jamel Herring. And he was able to dominate him, win every round, and stop him in round 10 or 11 stoppage. Could have been a little bit earlier stoppage, but Herring would have just been taking punishment. He wasn't returning fire at the point, right? So it's a kind of a, some people, I'm pretty sure Herring and them, even though I haven't heard any post-fight anything, probably would have said, hey, I had a puncher's chance in the last round and a half. But he, like I said, he wasn't returning fire and he had lost every round. We don't need to say a quick stoppage because he would dominate the whole fight. Stevenson was able to dominate Herring, which, brings me to my point about this fight. To me, Stevenson versus Herring in the 130-pound division is just the same as Andre versus Charlo in the middleweight division. Putting two brothers together, hoping to eliminate one for the better good of that division. Which I mean is not, I'm being sarcastic, but to protect those other fighters. For example, Oscar Valdez should have fought one of these guys before, right? Let's see what they're going to say now. And he, was doped before. Same thing as Canelo Alvarez should have fought a Charlo or Andre before, and he was also doped. And the problem that I have is like if you're gonna have Stevenson and Herring fight, then the winner of this fight is the baddest dude in the division. We don't need to talk about the other guy who did not want to fight him. Also, Bichelt as well didn't want to fight Herring. So you have those guys. So don't talk about them. This is my only issue. Stevenson's the baddest one now. He beat this guy by far, Herring. There's no reason to talk about any other ones, right? You crown Stevenson as the very best, and then you make these other guys fight him instead of just saying, hey, we'll keep these other guys away, and we'll continue to say the other guys are better, right? Oscar Valdez shouldn't have been able to fight in his last fight. He was doped. Same as Canelo Alvarez shouldn't have been able to fight in 6 months after being busted twice for clenbuterol. Let's just stop the shenanigans and herald these guys as the best. Devin Haney is also the best in his division, by far. There is no one close, because if they were, they would have fought him by now. Be it Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Ryan Garcia, or Jojo Diaz. They would have fought him by now if they felt themselves. They don't. Same Canelo would have fought Charlo or Andre by now, especially when Charlo was your mandatory, and Andre, you could have been undisputed to do so. You would have. Oscar Valdez would have beat Stevenson because everybody knows Stevenson is the best. He would have fought him by now. So that's all I'm saying. And let's make sure this is clear about some of these fighters I'm talking about. If it's Andrade, if it's Mayweather, if it's Haney, if it's Andre Ward, right? Or if it's Shakur Stevenson. They're supposedly not to have so much punch and power. But when they fight, the guy who fighting against them, even if they're bigger, don't walk through them. They just don't. Kovalev ain't walking through Andre, did he? Right? Ain't nobody walking through Haney either. Ain't nobody walking through Mayweather. Ain't nobody walking through Shakur Stevenson. They have no punching power. But I told you what the thing is with these skilled fighters is there's an embarrassment factor. And because of that embarrassment factor, people leave them alone because you can get knocked out. And after that, you can say, I just made a mistake. Right? But when you get dominated, there's nothing to talk about. Right? So that's just, let's congratulate Shakur Stevenson and hopefully that he gets Oscar Valdez or anybody else with some titles in the 130-pound division so he can be undisputed in this division before he even thinks about moving to the next one. Let's get him undisputed. That's what, people be moving to next other divisions and not being undisputed. Like Canelo. He moved from 160 and he was right there able to fight Demetrius Andrade for undisputed and get $40 million doing it. And didn't do that. And it's not that he didn't do that. It's the point that no one said nothing about it. These media outlets. You're supposed to say something about that. At that point, everybody would be saying, hey, this Andre guy is the best, and forcing Canelo to fight him. They do it the other way. Make sure that he's obscure, that no one knows him, so no one notices that Canelo wasn't going to do that. Now we're worrying about Canelo fighting Kyler Plant for an 168-pound division, which ain't nobody caring about, because you took the best one, David Benavidez, out of the equation. to let Canelo have that. Right? Yeah, he's going to fight Caleb Plant, but that's, to me, similar to Sergey Kovalev. Instead of Andrade, it's like I'm going to fight Caleb Plant instead of Benavidez. Right? That's the same type of thing. You know, fight the hardest guys and we'll give Canelo props too. But we ain't going to just act like we don't see stuff. And another thing while I'm here. Heavyweight division. Deontay Wilder lost to Tyson Fury. And people that he's supposed to say Tyson Fury's the better man. Well, the hell he isn't. Right? Not on planet Earth where laws and rules count. I don't care if what you want. You want this brother to say he's a better man. No, you've been doped before, I haven't. Who's better there? Stop right there. You've been doped before on cocaine. I haven't. I'm better there, aren't I? You've been doped before on Nadrolone. Who's better there? I haven't, you have. Who's better there? You're 6'9", 250 something pounds, 50 pounds heavier than me. Who's better there for their weight? Right? You've cheated with your gloves against Christian Hammer. I've never done that. So who's better there? You've cheated on your gloves with your sparring partner. Nicholas Salisbury showed that. Who's better there? Right? You've cheated with your gloves with John McDermott. Who's better there? You don't have a boxing license in your own country. Who's better there? You've said more crazy things in public than I have. Who the hell is better? Where is Tyson Fury better than him? I don't get it. You've been knocked down just as many times as I have when we fought. And when I got up on time. You didn't. Yeah, you got the wins. Okay. But they made it clear you've broken the contract that we had after our first fight. We were supposed to fight directly. You broke the contract. You breached it and went and fought Otto Wallen and Tom Schwartz. I didn't breach contract. I tried to do what the contract said. Our fight on July 24th. You didn't want to fight. You had COVID. You've never had to prove in that. Now, everybody wants Dillian White to prove that he has a shoulder injury against Otto Wallen, and everybody seems to want that proof. But when it came to Tyson Fury calling a bigger fight off, no one gave a damn. Just, okay, he's got COVID, and his whole crew had COVID. We found out they didn't, and never asked him to show proof. Same thing as Teofimo Lopez when his fight got called off. Got COVID. No proof. But your boy, Dillian White, should show it. No, he shouldn't. Until everybody. If a fight's called off, I think proof should be something that has to happen. Especially if it's a major fight. So hell no. If you're Deontay Wilder, you lost to Fury. Okay? But ain't no damn way on this planet, if rules and laws count, that he's supposed to say that's a better man than him. Because it isn't. Dome Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.